Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Francesco. Scott is on the call as well. Thanks very much for having us today, attending this really exciting event. And yeah, let's get into our presentation. I'm really excited to show some of the things that we're doing at Leighton Asia. To start, maybe just a very quick um, uh, look at what we're going to present today. So we're going to give you a little bit of an introduction about our company and how we are structured. And then we're going to start showing some of the solutions that we implemented on our projects. You will see that we heavily rely on Autodesk solutions for what we do. We'll go through some of the platforms that are available on the cloud, like PlanGrid and SEMPLE, which are part of the Autodesk Construction Cloud. And then Scott will bring you into reality capture and immersive technologies, which are also using at the back end some Autodesk solutions. So just to give you a little bit of an introduction, I guess a lot of you already knows Leighton Asia has been in business in Asia for quite a long time. I think it's our 45th year in business. We don't work only in Hong Kong, but we actually cover most of the Southern Asia countries. We currently have projects live on many of the countries that you see on the screen right now, the blue one, so specifically Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, India, obviously Hong Kong, and Macau. We are actually part of a much bigger organization, and the reason why we mention this is because um, most of the solution that we implement on our projects, they also need to look at what we do from a much higher business level, because the ultimate goal that we have is actually to be able to consolidate project data from the very bottom level of our operating companies all the way up to the main shareholder in Spain, which is the Grupo ACS. As you can see, we're actually Leighton Asia is part of an Australian group called the CIMIC, and we have a lot of sister companies, which we actually engage quite often, and you will see later on, Scott will actually introduce some of the solutions that we partner with EIC, one of the sister companies. But then at another level, we all report to HOCHTIEF, which is based in Germany. And this is basically making our connection even wider, because then we have our cousins in US like Turner and Flatiron, and obviously all the HOCHTIEF and Dragados group in Europe. We also have a lot of support, especially in developing digital solution from a separate company called Nexport, which has a base in Hong Kong as well, in Science Park. And they provide a lot of support in trying to develop in-house digital solutions. All right, so to start immediately with something more interesting, first of all, I would like to share our vision about the future. We really think that the construction ecosystem will change dramatically in the next 5 to 10 years, and especially in some of the field like data. So everybody knows data is becoming very important these days, and be able to mine big data and extract insights and analytics. It's quite, I would say, not just a buzzword, but it's actually where a lot of investment are going these days. Prefabrication is obviously happening already for many years, but I think the level of integration of prefabrication elements is going to increase a lot. And I guess the ultimate goal is going to be to be able to prefabricate as much as possible in a very safe and controlled environment like a factory, and then move it into our sites. Digital twins obviously is going to be the preferred platform where we can visualize the data that we collect on our sites. So I understand data on a spreadsheet or on a database, it doesn't have a lot of meaning. So people really still rely a lot on a visual experience to understand what the data means. And I think the digital twin will basically serve for this. But at the same time, all the ecosystem with the supply chain are going to change. There will be a lot more integration between different suppliers and vendors, probably glued together with the digital platforms. And innovation, probably because of technology, is becoming much more available to the construction market, to the construction sector. So we'll definitely see a bigger increase in innovative solutions, also in materials and equipment. And then to connect everything we just said is really about making our processes much smarter. I think as an industry, we're still relying on very old and traditional processes, which are very cranky and slow. And people don't really like to change these processes because they have been working for so many years. But the truth is that this is now reducing our efficiency, and we need to change. And finally, there will be a big shift in the customer centricity, where it's really going to be more about providing a service, a product, and the customer will actually have a lot more interaction during all phases of the construction. So that said, it's clear that data is the new oil. It's basically the base of everything we just said. And that's why we're actually putting a lot of attention and efforts on how to collect the data from our sites and how to use it to generate useful insights. At the base of everything we do is our objective to be fully be able to deliver to implement integrated digital delivery by 2024. And without going into much details on what integrated digital delivery is, the key is that we need to be a lot more efficient, and we need to be able to integrate different systems across different phases of the life cycle of an asset. And so again, data is really at the base of this integration. So the first tool that we would like to showcase, it's PlanGrid. PlanGrid, it's part of the Autodesk Construction Cloud solution. I think last year it was actually branched into a new product called Autodesk Build, but it's exactly the same. We just keep working on the legacy system. And in general, PlanGrid is it's a platform that allows you to collect and organize drawings in PDF format. What we use it for is mostly to track design changes. So there is a very interesting functionality that allow you to compare drawing revisions. I think this is also available in BIM 360, but I think in PlanGrid you have a lot more extra functionality that you can use. So the idea is that you can compare two revisions, and just by comparing the color, you can identify changes. What we do as a second step, using two monitors, that on one monitor we have the comparison between drawings, and on the other monitors we actually start identifying changes with a stamp. That's how PlanGrid calls it. We have sort of predefined categories of stamps that we place on our drawings. We try to keep it very short, just to make the process of categorizing changes much easier. And then what we do is that we basically go through all the drawings and mark every single change that we find. Now, this might seem very old school, I would say. But the truth is that because PlanGrid is a fully digital platform, that stamp or that markup is actually a line in a database. And there is an API that we actually leverage constantly. There is a application that is checking 24/7 what's going on the PlanGrid drawings. And we actually extract all the data associated with that particular stamp, like the instruction number, the description of the change, when it was instructed, when we found it, etc., etc. And we then move it into our data warehouse on Azure, Microsoft Azure SQL database. And the beauty of it is that then we can actually access it with Power BI, and we use it to really understand where the changes are, what they mean, and what is the impact on the work that we need to do on site. It's also interesting that if you follow this process, you have so much insights on where the changes are. You see on my screen right now, you can actually quickly understand which one is the instruction that has the most changes. But also you can order drawings by the number of changes that they carry on from the first revision till the current one. Um, and this is very helpful if you want to understand which area of your project needs to be taken care uh, more in more detail. At the same time, because we actually input a lot of data on the stamp properties, we are also able to extract spreadsheet that can be reprocessed in Dynamo inside Revit and reinsert all the information about the changes inside our models, which is then even more useful because you can start using filters to color floor plans and understand where the changes are. And you see on the screen right now, it's an example of changes to the rebar of structural beams, and different colors means different number of changes. All right, the next platform that we want to showcase is SEMPLE. SEMPLE again is another Autodesk product, and SEMPLE is a very interesting product because it allows you to upload your models directly from Navisworks or Revit, and you can also federate models from different sources in there. And at the same time, you can add an extra layer of information or an extra layer of parameters, as Revit calls it, on top of your BIM model. And you can have as many properties as you want. You can predefine some of the fields of these properties. Basically, you're really free to do whatever you want. And the main reason we use it is for quantification, because Assemble has an engine at the back that allows you to get quite fast quantities out of the models that you upload. So what we do is that we actually match the BOQ from the main contract of the job, and then we immediately go through the finding on the live models to see where are the differences between the original BOQ and what we have on the job. Again, we use a lot of different free integration through the API to actually get the data out of Assemble into our data warehouse. And from there, again, the limits are well, the limit is the universe because you can actually reuse the data as you wish. Again, you can put together a lot of integration with different systems, even P6 from a planning point of view. There is an integration where you can actually add an extra layer on top of your models to link the program with your elements. But you can also use it for tracking the progress on site. For example, this is a live, well, that's the beginning of a live dashboard on one of our projects where we were actually tracking the installation of the facade components. So the engineers can just input the progress directly in SEMPLE. And it's very interesting. There is a functionality that is allowing you to link 2D drawings generated from Revit with your model, so that people can actually just go through drawings and select elements of the facade on your drawing and then add parameters directly from there. So overall, again, this is a very powerful tool. And it really allows you to supercharge your models with an extra or multiple extra layers of information on top of what you already have. Next, I think Scott is going to introduce you some solution that we implemented on reality capture. Scott, it's your turn.
Thank you, Francesco, and hello everyone. So yes, I'm going to go over the reality capture side of the business that we've been implementing here in Hong Kong and across the region. So in Hong Kong, we have adopted a product called OpenSpace. We had tested out a number of different reality capture solutions over a certain period, and we found that OpenSpace was certainly the most user-friendly and suitable for our business. So we've commenced on one of our projects here in Hong Kong. We've commenced a daily site reality capture of the site conditions. And we do this on a daily basis. So we have a number of people, such as the person displayed on the screen. So he has a 360 camera that is attached to his hard hat, and he will walk the site on a daily basis. So the system is very clever. It makes use of artificial intelligence to analyze the videos that the camera is taking, and then it automatically detects the route and overlays it onto a floor plan. And again, one of the great things with OpenSpace is within 30 minutes of processing, that data is then available to any member of the project team that then can navigate the site virtually in a 360-degree street view type mode, just by clicking on a floor plan that has been captured earlier. We'll show you an example shortly. Users then can also compare against the 3D model to check if there are any discrepancies in the final design. Again, I've got an example coming up later on. And by able to do this on a consistent daily basis, it drives the accountability and streamlines coordination and keeps a better record for our reference. The fact that we are able to record the site every single day, that this is really, again, valuable data that we can look back on in the future. So this is a screenshot just now, just showing the two separate captures. As you can see on the bottom, there's two separate dates. So there's a function where you can pick the date that you want to see, and then you can choose the corresponding area at a date in the past. So again, it's a great way to help you track progress. There's also a BIM Compare feature, and this is a screenshot of that right now. And the BIM model is all based on it's utilizing the Autodesk Forge capability, and you'll be familiar with anyone that's used to using the BIM feature on BIM 360. That's the interface that you can see on the right hand side. So actually we have a small demo right now. So I think for anyone that's very familiar with using Google Street View, it has very, very similar functionality. So you simply have to select the floor plan that you wish to view. You click anywhere on that floor plan, and then pops up a thumbnail, but you then have the ability then to have a more immersive experience by clicking into that image. So you then have a full 360 environment to navigate. So again, similar to Street View, you have these discs that you're able to move around. There's a key plan in the top corner, so you're always aware of your positioning, where you are in the building. And then this is exactly what I mentioned before, the BIM comparison tool that you have. So every couple of weeks we'll upload the latest model so that we're able to compare the alignment and the latest photographs with the model. So it's very simple to navigate around, very quick. And probably actually one of the things I can mention right now, one of the reasons why we chose open space is because it's very user friendly. The training that we have to conduct on this is very straightforward, and we see that users immediately pick it up. So you can see here again, people familiar with BIM 360, you have access to all the model components in the library that those components are within. So here's an example here. We can see that, okay, we have the duct matching the photograph. However, there's a slight issue with the opening. So this was something that we were able to see, to then go back and update our drawings. Okay, next thing we'll talk about is our immersive technology. So we mentioned earlier on EIC Technologies, or sorry, EIC Activities, one of our sister companies in Australia. So we work closely with them. So they have produced their own AR, augmented reality solution. So this has been fully utilised in Australia already for well over a year, and we're now testing it here, we're implementing it here in Hong Kong. So again, these models are hosted on BIM 360. It's very simple to upload the files. These then are geolocated, and you're then able to take a tablet out to site and sync your location with the model, and you're able to then view the augmented reality. If I just click on to the next slide. So this is an example of how we've used it here in Hong Kong. So this is the interface again. We're using the back-end Autodesk solution to host all our models. So this is our project here in Hong Kong that we're utilizing this now. So very, very simple to use. You make your way to site. We have all the models already loaded onto the tablet. And by the use of a predetermined marker, which we have already located in the model, by searching for that location marker, it then calibrates the model fully with the actual live site conditions. So again, very, very simple to use. The model, you can then see you've got the ability to switch on and off the various models that we have, architectural and various MEP models. So we're then, it gives you that augmented reality view for the user. So it's something that we make sure that we have 2 people going out each time. So it's always vitally important that we keep everyone safe as possible as well. And yes, as you can see there, there's a model transparency function that we're able to utilize. And yeah, this is just another further example. So again, very, very simple. We can have multiple projects on each tablet. The ability to switch models on and off, very, very easy to use. And we're finding great sort of feedback from our site teams for those that are using this on site. Okay, and then very quickly, this is a VR solution again developed fully with EIC activities. So this is actually our Lam Tin Chung Kono project that we have here in Hong Kong. So we've utilised the VR for giving us the ability to see exactly the models overlaid with this was a while back when we were doing drone surveys at the time. And then another solution from EIC was a driving experience that we had built. We showcased this a few years back at the CIC Expo here in Hong Kong. I think that was 2019. And now the driving experience, I think it's permanently for use at the CIC CITIC Centre in Kowloon. So if anyone wants to go down there, you can have a play around. But again, this was very useful for sort of community and engagement, and showcasing what the end product would look like. I know sort of time is getting against us, so thankfully we're at the end. So some key takeaways, I think, just to highlight. It's clear that the industry is going through another step change right now. As Francesco had mentioned, earlier in his part, big data is now a key component for future learnings. Where we can learn from current projects and how we can take them forward to the future. I would say that it's now many traditional software practices in BIM are now becoming business as usual. And again, that sort of reconfirms the step change that I think that we're going through at the moment. And again, going back to what Francesco showed you, is how best you can adapt to get the best out of the existing tools that are there there at the moment. Obvious to everyone, of course, new technology is being developed all the time, and I think the key thing is that these tools now, you have to bring everybody on the journey with you. So it's paramount that you that to build this full digital engineering ecosystem, you have to bring everyone on the journey. These tools are not just for a BIM team in the corner anymore. They have to be part of everyone that's engaged in the projects, and then finally that all ties in with the training, which is absolutely key now as it's ever been. So I think from us, it's a thank you. Thank you to Autodesk for inviting us to showcase what we've been doing at Leighton Asia. And I think as a group, we look forward to continue contributing our expertise to drive positive changes in the industry together.